welcome to Sensible Secondhand Classics, the show where we like to test cars that you can buy for between £1,000 and £5,000 that are over 15 years old and have well, lots of fun doing it. This is a 1968 Triumph Herald 1360 convertible with a 1500 engine and sort of fun. So the Triumph Herald was introduced in 1959. The body is actually separate from the chassis in this car. This is because the biggest supplier of bodies to standard Triumph was taken over by British Motor Corporation, and so they weren't sure whether they'd be able to find like a reliable supplier for bodies. So they decided to make these separate chassis rather than a monocoque. This 1360 is quite a late example, being made towards the end of Herald production. But yeah, it's pretty good. It's actually really fast. I was surprised how fast it is. The original Herald had a 948cc engine when it came out, and that produced 34.5 horsepower. In 1961, the 1200 was released with 39 horsepower and later raised to 48 horsepower. When the 1250 came out in 1963, that produced 51 horsepower, and when this 1360 came out in 67, it produced 61 horsepower, although this it's a little bit more than that. We're talking about 71 horsepower probably with this. Well viewers, I apologise for the technical issues there. My mount fell off the screen, so we're going to have to continue with our discussion a bit later on whilst we're driving. So this car is in really, really nice condition. Very, very sort of beautiful looking car. See, it's got some nice sort of mini light style wheels on it, which I think suit this really, really well. Beautiful colour as well, and this sort of old English white. Luggage rack on the back, of course. It's amazing that they made these cars until 1971, by which stage this design, which dates from the 1950s, was probably looking a little bit dated. You could also get an estate version of the Herald and a saloon and a coupe. The coupe though was discontinued in 1964 because then the Spitfire came out, which sort of shares the chassis and other components. You could also get the 6-cylinder version of this design as the Triumph Vitesse, which has a slightly different front end. The 1.5 engine in this was never fitted to the car. It was fitted to the Spitfire and also the Triumph Dolomite 1500. So it's an engine that I'm very familiar with because it's exactly the same as the old 1980 1500 SE that I used to have many, many years ago. So only a 4-seater. There's no rear doors, of course, in this, so I'm not even going to bother trying to climb in the back. I don't think there's any room for me in here. Fixed seat belts, which I always find a little bit on the annoying side, I'm afraid, viewers. But it's just the way that it goes, really. Little speakers in the back, those would have been fitted later. The sort of dash and the centre section of the car is very similar to a Bonnet Keep of the era as well. That also has a separate chassis. Wooden steering wheel. This is not the original one. This is an aftermarket one, but it looks pretty good. The pins keep falling off this tree, which is quite annoying, and also keep being out by wind noise, which I don't really like, I'm afraid, but just the way that it goes. Let's have a look, see if the boot's open. I might have to get the key for this. No, it is open. There we go. Look at all this stuff you can get in here. We've got a sort of plaque here. The original owner unfortunately passed away quite recently. This is now owned by his son Alan, who has supplied many cars for me to film on the channel today. This is one of the last ones that I'm doing. The Triumph Herald Haynes manual here. There we go. Yes, 948, 1147 and 1296 cc. So original one was 948, 34.5 horsepower. Then the 1200 was 39 raised to 48, and then the 1250 51 horsepower, and then this 61 horsepower. It's a very similar thing actually to the bonnet strut, which is on sort of like an ADO16 or a Land Crab, which is interesting really. Yeah, wiring for the number plate light is just sort of there. No fog lights, no reversing lights, nothing like that, and this kind of late 50s fin here, which really dates the car somewhat. Right, let's take a look under the bonnet, shall we? Interestingly, we've got a BL Cars logo on here. This must be from a later car, this particular part. I don't think it would have said that back in '68 quite yet. BL Cars was the name of the company, I think in the late 70s. No servo brakes in this car, which is interesting. It is like trying to stop the car with a house brick in some ways. But as you can see, the engine accessibility in this car is fantastic. You've got the whole kind of front of the car. You can change the suspension if you want to and things like that. You can just get to whatever you want. It's pretty easy. You can even do it quite easily with just one person. You just undo the catches in a particular order and it's okay. So there's the battery and everything. Yeah, it's ever so easy to work on one of these. Not really an issue. So this is the standard SC engine. But the reason why they put this BL Cars on it is because this engine dates from after, I think it would be 1975, because it came out of a Spitfire. There's the oil filter just down there. Yeah, so not particularly complicated. See if we can put this back very, very carefully. Don't want to trap my hands in this. There we go. So we just should do these catches up properly. There we go. There we are. Might have to redo that one in a second, see if that's sort of going a bit. They always were a little bit kind of loose, so I think, on these. Very nice looking car, the 1360. The 1250 and the 1200 and 948cc cars do have a different front end, but I think this is the nicest looking Herald of them all. Right, let's take a look at the interior. I'll just re-secure that catch. Okay, that's better, viewers. We've done that better this time. Fixed seat belts, not my favourite really, but there we go. It's better than nothing. So just shut this door. There we go. Yes, driving conditions is okay in this car actually. The thing is, the pedals are really far over here. They're right the way over there, if my thing will focus properly. And so you do sort of drive quite offset in this. Just remind me of being in like a yacht or something like that, this car. Glove box, I'm afraid, is not going to fit the security documents in, but there we go. Heated rear window. That's the choke just there. The lights, I think, are on here. That's the wiper switch there. Fortunately, we don't need anything like that today. I'm not actually sure what that does. It's to do with maybe the brakes or something. I don't actually know. Answers in the comment section below, viewers. I'm not entirely sure what that does. So we've got one of these modern Bluetooth style radios in there. If I just put my hand, there we go. That's the light's better now if I do that. And we've got just a simple speedo and temperature gauge and a fuel gauge. There's no rev counter in here or anything. And I think this is like, I don't know, marine ply or something. I'm not actually sure. But the wood makes it feel just really, really wonderful, actually. I know someone who has one of these in our local classic car club, and he quite likes it. It's a similar one to this. I think it's a 69, actually, his one, rather than a 68. This, I think, does some of the lights as well on that side there. Ignition switch is just there, and that's the indicator stalk just on here. We haven't got any big pockets, just sort of small ones on this, and just normal windy windows, and a little pull handle for the door. It's like a sort of cabinet or something. Right, I think it's time to take this one back, and so Alan can enjoy this, because it's a pretty nice car actually. Right viewers, we've got another mount here that's going to be, I think, the way it's going to work. Alan's got a battery mount in the car. This might vibrate a bit, but it's better than nothing, I suppose, because my other one just keeps falling off the dash, which isn't great. So yes, the gearbox is quite good. It doesn't have synchro mesh on first, of course. Go. Yeah, it's quite good fun, this. There used to be these driving school cars back in the day, so they're considered quite easy. It'd be easy by the standards of the day. In comparison with a lot of other things that I've driven, it's it's not that easy at all, really. But you know, there we go. Down second, there we are. The ride's not as comfortable as something like an ADO 16, but that's not really surprising, is it? Totally different in terms of the suspension technology. Turning circle though, amazing. These were sort of known for having very, very good turning circles. I think it's only 25 feet. Whoop, just avoiding a pigeon there. Almost got killed. Yeah, very nippy with this 1500cc engine, I must say. Right, try second rather than first, that's better. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, this. I really, really enjoy this. It sort of reminds me of my old Dolomite. It makes the same noises that does, sort of everything like that. But that actually had a brake servo, apart from the time when the brake servo didn't work because one of the pipes was perished. So this is a bit different from that, but yes, what a pleasure. And what a fantastic way to come to the end of the filming I've done today with 4 of Alan's cars. Lloyd Vehicle Consulting stickers, t-shirts and mugs are available by clicking the link to the Google form in the video description below. So viewers, the Triumph Herald 1360 Convertible, is this a car that you should consider as a sensible second-hand classic for a budget of between £1,000 and £5,000? Well, I don't see why not. It's quite easy to see if these have got rust on them. You can just easily kind of just take the panels off and see if they're okay. The engine's sort of hilarious in this. It's really powerful, the size of the car. Just sort of kind of just wants to go, which is good. Not everyone's going to like the driving position. Not everybody's going to like the lack of servo brakes, and you do have to kind of work the steering a bit. Well, Dolomite was like that, to be honest. You had to work the steering a bit, but you get used to it. It's a lot of fun, actually. It's amazing to drive an example like this that's been so well cared for and is in such good condition. I'm really grateful to Alan for letting me have a go in this, actually. It's just ever so kind of him. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching this episode of Sensible Secondhand Classics. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment below, and we shall see you again soon, no doubt, for more nostalgic but reasonably priced luxury.
2, 3, 4. Every day with blue skies.